I was gonna say you could see the light glaring off of his head, but
Yeah.
that'll
Yeah.
be nice. Nah, but once again, guys, if you most of you guys are probably familiar with Steve Fleming from all the streams here. He's always in all these tournaments. Jake Lebon, maybe some of you not as familiar with, but a very strong player, especially playing 8-ball. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
watch this match.
As you say, I've actually never seen him play 8-ball. Anytime I've ever seen him play, it's always been a rotation tournament. But
He plays very fast, very quick.
yeah.
I think he slows it down a little bit when he's in a big tournament or if the numbers are high enough, but kind of runs around the table and freewheels a lot. We'll see if he slows down a little bit playing some 8-ball in a big tournament. But
So Steve is broken dry here.
yeah, and so a couple clusters here, but all solids there in the center of the table. The only real problem on the table for stripes is going to be that 2-ball blocking the pocket. So
Yeah.
and it is tough. The 9-ball needs that pocket. The 13-ball needs that pocket. It looks like he wants to open with the 15 and maybe go up into the 9. Oh, he really tried to go into the 2.
Yeah, I tried to get the 2 out of there.
Kind of had to create an angle for that. The cue ball wanted to go shorter than that, and I think that's kind of why he missed the shot there.
Yeah.
So,
And
but
unfortunately for him, he has opened he definitely has opened the pocket up for the 13. I'm not sure about the 9.
really fortunate though to leave the. Oh, I'm sorry. Did he scratch?
Yes, he scratched.
I gotcha. Okay, I didn't. I was gonna say really fortunate to leave the cue ball frozen to the foot rail like that, but
No, he scratched, and that was just where Steve put it when he picked it
that's
up.
a big no-no here. So the 9 does not pass the 2 still, I don't believe, and it may pass the 3 to
I believe it does pass the 3, and
to me, if it does, I'd be starting with that.
I agree,
And if
that is your biggest trouble ball here.
Yeah, and you can roll up for the 13. You can use the pink stripe. I guess that's the 12.
12, yes. Yeah, these are the RMF TV balls. So.
To kind of go up table. Yeah, so it's possible that the 9 passes the 2 and we just can't tell that from our angle. If that's the case, I don't really mind him. Oh, he's shooting solids.
He's shooting solids, okay. Yeah, I mean, Jake on that last shot did break up that 1-7-6 cluster a bit. They're still tight, but they're not as clustered as they were. So I guess solids isn't as bad of a choice as it would have been immediately off the break.
Right, and not at bad at all. And once the 6 goes, the 1 and the 7 will go to both side pockets.
Yes.
So a pretty good pattern here from Steve. Just needs to make sure he commits to getting to a good spot on the 1. It will also go up to the corner once the 7 goes. So, well, I think he's going to play the 1 now, which is perfect.
Just want to make sure you don't nudge the 4, though, because if you nudge that up the rail just a little bit, it becomes a really tricky shot.
Yeah, either it doesn't clear the side pocket and you have a scratch shot, or it gets up where it doesn't pass the 9. So both of those are bad. He really took care to make sure he pocketed that cleanly because of what you were talking about. So, and this is a good pattern. He's back on the rail, but he can just roll the 7 in. Once again, got to make sure you pocket this clean. This is very important. If you nudge that 4 to the rail here, you're in trouble. He will have the 3 off of this ball if he needs it, but
yeah, very nicely played.
This is a really nice clean pattern Steve's played here. Chooses to play the 3 first, use the 4 as a key ball so he can just roll forward and be right on the 8.
Yeah, I think I like that. I don't really like using the 3 ball that's down below the 8 for getting on the 8 ball.
Not that there would have been anything wrong with it if he had. The 8 ball goes to both corner pockets down table there, so it wouldn't have been crazy. But this was a little bit simpler, and you're going to see that from Steve. Once again, a very good 8 ball player. He's most of the time going to find the simplest way to play the patterns if he's in line. Nice out from Steve, 1-0. Able to hold on his break despite coming up empty on the break, and Jake will be at the table breaking now.
Yes.
Pretty solid break here from Jake. Looks like just a ball down, but choice of stripe or solid here. We do play BCA rules at this tournament, open after the break, so he can shoot the 4 or the 13 right now. Does select to play the stripes. Looks like he wants to take the 12. The 10 goes to the lower right-hand corner pocket as we're viewing the table. They'll have to play a good pattern. I think he can go from the 12 to the 14 and use the 14 to get on the 10.
Could also play the 10 on the side now, I believe.
You think
it
so?
goes by the 11, yes.
I don't think he's going to want to, even if it does go, just because you can kind of only drag your cue ball up, like to the other side of the 14. Looks like he's back cutting the 14.
Yeah. Oh, nice shot.
That's really, really unfortunate that rolled an extra half revolution there. He's in trouble now.
You can still cut the 12 by the 2.
Yeah. Yeah, he can, but kind of
roll
it was an
thin.
awkward pace that he was playing that at.
It wasn't an easy shot, definitely. Would have been much better off had he stopped a half-inch sooner and been able to shoot the 8 ball or the 11 ball instead of getting behind the 8.
It's going to be costly here too. Steve's going to have to play a pattern where he either plays the 4 before the 6 or uses the 2 to get on the 6 to play it up in the side pocket. Other than that, this rack is not very tough for the solids. He can do it right now. I think he is. He's going to play the 2 and roll forward, get the 6 out of there. And after that, everything goes pretty easily except for...
I don't know, the 1 and the 3, just because you have to...
They kind of need the same pocket.
Yeah, and...
You kind of need to get to the left side of the table, I think.
Yeah, the 8's,
using the 5 to do that. The one good thing is they all go by each other to that side pocket.
Yes.
So when you're playing, if you take a back cut angle on the 5, you don't really have to get to a specific spot.
Right, as long as you don't get behind the 15.
Yes, exactly. Yep. But having all 3 of those options makes it a lot easier.
No, definitely.
So he'll play like a stop shot here on the 6 and then keep the angle on the 4 to climb up table for a little bit of a back cut on the 5.
Oh.
Assuming he makes the 6 though.
Wow.
A little bit of a lapse in concentration there early for Steve. Took that shot a little bit for granted. And a reprieve for Jake. He's not supposed to get back to the table there.
Yeah. But as you were saying, Jake is very quick around the table here.
When the balls are open and he doesn't have to think about much, he gets out in a hurry. Nicely controlled there. He had to kind of like softly and just get it to stun a little bit to climb up above the 15, little nudge. But nice clean out from Jake, and that's about how long it'll take. I'm telling you, if he doesn't have to think about anything, that's what it'll look like. 1-1.
Jake makes quick work of that rack, ties the match up. Okay, while Steve's racking, I'd like to thank a couple of our sponsors. Aramith, the signature of true Belgian-made quality. AZ Billiards, the A to Z of billiards online. Be More Detailing. We come to you with waterless shine. All right, so Steve breaking now. Tied at 1. This is a race to 6 alternate break format. BCA rules 8 ball.
I love the race to 6 and 8 ball. Not long enough where it really drags, but for some reason it seems significantly longer than a race to 5.
Yeah, no, I agree. It does for some reason.
It's just long enough where you can kind of get away without starting perfect. Sometimes you have a little bit of a chance to get back into it, especially an alternate break when a guy might break dry once and make it a 3-game swing or whatever.
Right. So Steve has pocketed a solid here. Although, unless he wants to shoot over top the 1, which I wouldn't like that shot personally. He doesn't really have a shot on a solid, so.
Yeah, long reach even to get to that. He'd have to lean out across the table. And
so he's definitely taking stripes here.
for some reason, it doesn't look like it, but what can be a trouble ball here on this run out is that 10. It's not really covered, but it's just one of those balls where if you're not real specific about how you want to get to it, it can really get you in trouble.
And that's, as I say, that's 2 shots in a row where the cue ball got away from Steve a little bit. He didn't want to be over on the rail on the previous shot. Now he's gotten himself behind the 12 ball. And
he might be able to shoot the 10 now.
I don't know. I can't tell. I don't think he can see the 10, but it's, yeah, from this angle, it looks like he might be able to. Unfortunately, we don't have the directly overhead angle here that we have at Bruce, but
I have to tell the champion guys to go ahead and buy that Predator light, and then there you have it.
Yeah.
Looks like he is shooting the 10.
Yeah, he had plenty of room to get through to that ball.
And a really nice stroke. Really unlucky if he's jacked up on the 1 here.
Yeah, I think he is a little bit.
And this is the little thing that people don't think about. The one thing that I will say where 9-foot 8 ball is tougher in one area than 8-foot or 7-foot 8 ball is these. You get that cue ball out in the middle of the table, you better make sure it's not over a ball because you're dead. Yeah. Not dead, but the shot difficulty goes way, way up through the roof.
Yeah, right. Whereas on the 7-foot table, where you ball in the middle of the table like that, you're not stretching, and
you can still reach it pretty good. Yeah, this is tough.
He's also worried about the, I believe it's the 13 ball that's on the rail. He wants to make sure he doesn't move it with his waist while he's leaning out over the table.
Watch that side pocket. Nah, it's going long. But does he have a shot?
Oh. We're not playing all ball fouls here, so if he had moved to the 13, it would not have been a foul, but he still wanted to make sure he didn't move it.
You know, I find even playing cue ball fouls only that it's such a distraction. If I feel a ball under when I go to shoot,
I agree.
It can definitely make you miss a ball or do something funky on your stroke. It's just not a feeling that you're used to in the middle of your stroke, and it kind of just grabs your attention. So, this is bad. I don't know what you do from here. I guess he might be able to cut the 12 to the corner, but the cue ball is going to be flying around the table. And it's really thin.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering if he can't cut the 13 along the rail, but
I think he can. It's just not a shot anybody ever wants to shoot.
So, good morning, Don. I'm glad you could join us. You're welcome. It's always good to have you in the chat.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Don. Always appreciate the kind words. I always appreciate everybody jumping in the comments. You guys do not know what a difference it makes when you're sitting here. When people are talking back in the comments, it's so reassuring. Like, sometimes it just feels like I'm sitting here talking to Dave and nobody's listening or watching. Or
yes, and especially when you're in the booth by yourself and people are commenting, because sometimes it seems like you're just talking to yourself. And
so it looks like there's about 30 people out there watching right now. If you guys are watching, jump in the comments. Let us know where you're at, what you think of the stream, who you think's going to win the set, who you like for the tournament. I believe by now we have the bracket posted to the On the Hill page. If we do, I'm sure Dave will get that posted in the comments for you guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure. All right. Okay, the bracket is up, so I'll get the link.
Jake at the table here with a long look. He's checking to see if he can go play a safe, kind of thin the edge of the 5.
Good morning, Raymond. Yep. All right, there's a link to the bracket in the comments now.
Yeah, so guys, check out the bracket, see what you think, make your predictions. Looks like Jake decided to play more of a two-way shot where he could be aggressive. Nice shot. Got the 6 down. He has the 5 if he wants. He has the 4 if he wants. I don't think the 2's really in his way at all. Yeah, he's just queuing right next to the 2. I would shoot the 5 here as well. Just rolls it in, which is going to get him to a little bit of a back cut. And if he shoots the 7 now, the 4-2 are doubled up a little bit to the side pocket. So if you do shoot the 7, you need to kind of stun out. He actually just took a look at the combination. It's not sitting terribly. And that whole side of the table is wide open. Nice. He's going to play the 2. Oh, don't scratch.
Oh, no.
Just that little nudge on the 4 ball. It's crazy how much the cue ball accelerates and spins off of an object ball if you do that.
That's unfortunate there.
Raymond Walters likes Steve to win. I assume he's talking about this match, but you could also pick him to win the tournament. He's been playing great 8-ball, real high finishes at the 8-ball tournaments recently. So,
yes.
And looking good to take a 2-1 lead here.
Cue ball looks like it's really running on this table.
It really does. And this is not really a traditional arena. Like, this table should not be playing any differently than any of the tables around it. No more separation with this table than there is with any of the others. But I will say that a little bit of a thinner crowd today than you have at some of these bigger tournaments here. So the room's probably a little bit cooler. The table might be running a little bit faster.
Steve finishes out that rack, takes the 2-1 lead. Jake will be breaking. So are you somebody that likes to know who you're waiting on, or you'd rather not know?
I don't think it matters for me anymore. I went through a stretch where I kind of bracket watched too much and would kind of mind screw myself a little bit. But I kind of like to think now I'm experienced enough as a player that I kind of try to go into every match with the same mentality, no matter who it is. So I don't mind knowing. I don't mind not knowing. Doesn't really matter.
All right, well, you're waiting for the winner of Wayne Everhart and Thomas
Okay, well,
Park,
that does make me a little bit mad because I have Thomas in the Calcutta, so. One of us will get to the third round, I guess.
Jake has dropped a ball on the break here.
Yeah, we got you, Ray, man. We know who you are. YouTube has you as Raymond Walters. Shout out to Ray, man. Pretty strong player himself, from what I understand. I don't know if I've ever got to see him play down in Virginia.
Yeah, these two players definitely did not get the easiest draws. Not only do they have to play each other, whoever wins has to play Joe Wright next. Another strong
it's a tough
8-ball
one
player.
for sure. Real strong. I think Joe a little bit stronger on the bar table, probably.
I believe so. I mean, I know he does play big table, but I believe he's a bit stronger of a bar table player.
Not like so far as to call him a specialist, but definitely kind of known for his bar table play a little bit. But like you say, strong player either way. Not a lot of weak players in this tournament. Once again, like we mentioned it earlier, smaller field today, but not weaker per se.
No.
There's a lot of good players here.
So I don't know if you saw any of it up in New Jersey. Paul Sponstro's room, Rockaway Billiards, had a 10-ball tournament last week. They only drew 18 people to it, but I think the lowest person in the field might have had about a 650 Fargo. So it was.
So it just looked like a little invitational, like a Bigfoot challenge or something.
It was a monster 18-player field.
I've played in some tough ones. We used to have the little tournaments over at like Rogers House Tavern in Havre de Grace after Bomba's closed down, and I went to one time. There was like 16 or 17 players, and I was probably the worst player there, easily. It was pretty rough. But from what it sounds like, the one you're talking about was probably a little bit stronger than that even, so. At that point, you shut everything down, you use 2 tables and live stream like almost all the matches, you know. Call Emily Frazier to come run the tournament, you know.
Steve overcut that 13 ball.
Roll up for the 5 here, you think?
Yeah, I think so, because that's really your biggest trouble ball there. Well, the 3 as well doesn't pass the 9.
Yeah, but it goes easily in the side off the 13 if you get to it before the 4.
Yeah.
So he'll go from the 6, I think, to the 2 to the 3.
Actually, even if you don't get to it before
if he bumps it. I don't think he bumped it enough. I don't think he ever looked at the 3 off the 13, so.
Looking at the table, I think he can still play the 3 off the 13. He just needs to
Oh yeah, I
get
think he
needs to
can.
get underneath it, and I think he's kind of straight in on this too. So
I think he could roll forward and like bump the 11 or whatever. But my point wasn't that it doesn't go now. My point was he wouldn't have played to break it out if he would have really seen that, you know.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Because like I said, I think he could have kind of pinched the 6 in, played the 2, and then been right on the 3 and been out. And now his cue ball is going to be pretty erratic, whichever way he decides to play this.
Yes.
Because like you said, you're going forward straight on the 2 towards the 11, and the 3 does go off the 13, but you don't want to be cutting it a lot.
No, you want to be pretty close to straight in when you're playing a shot like that.
Morning back at you, Travis. Good to have you with us.
Why
Wish
aren't
you were here too,
Travis?
He's probably robbing somebody on the lanes.
Now, he hasn't been bowling much. He's gotten back into the go-kart racing. And
that's how I know he's robbing somebody, because he told you that he's not playing.
So, Joe, this is in Frederick, Maryland at Champion Billiards and Sports Bar.
And that was always the problem with that. He was.
Yes.
Now he's got to play a long cut shot on the 2, basically a spot shot off the head rail.
And hope he gets something on the 3.
Yeah, either thin the 9 and get it out of the way, or
caught the 2 too thick. And
so this is one of the things that you get. Like we said, Jake plays really good 8-ball, but he also plays a little bit fast at times. And I think maybe if he had walked around the table and took a look at that 3 off the 13 initially, it might have been an easier pattern.
Yes, yeah. So Travis says he has a race tonight. Well, good luck in your race tonight, Travis.
Where are you watching from, Joe? Do you know Joe there?
No, I don't.
Gotcha. Stop shot with the bridge here. Needs to be relatively straight on the 13. The good thing is if he does have too much angle, he can roll forward and the 14 goes in the side with a little bit of a big pocket. But does need to play it up table or to the side. Looked like he wanted to go into it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that.
I'm never a fan of that in 8-ball. Like, to me, especially on the big table, if a ball has a pocket, I really don't want to move it.
No, I agree.
Because on the big table, even if you have to go short side, it's a lot of times a decent area that you can get into.
Yeah, and if he did run into it, but he runs into the bottom side of it and pushes the 14 up towards the 8, and the cue ball goes back down towards the foot rail, he might not end up with any kind of a shot.
Right. Still not out of the woods, but now he's probably going to have to use the 12 ball to get to the backside of the 14. So.
And he's on the wrong side of the 12 to do it.
Yeah, and I don't
he's
think
on the wrong side of the 13 to get on the correct side of the 12.
Exactly. So now you're going from. He can still go there now. Does the 14 pass the 12 up table?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so he can go to that now if he wants.
Yep, get down below the 14 and shoot it up
I
table.
think he hit it really good too. And this is the angle that I want if I'm shooting this shot. Unless like I'm straight in, I guess. But like if I'm cutting it, this to me is very comfortable. And these tables pocket pretty easily. You don't have to hit this perfectly clean, you know. So it might go to the side too for the way we're looking at it now.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing it to the side, but I do believe it goes.
And he hit it nice and clean. Really nice shot. Did he play
really
that with a touch of inside too to get down?
Yeah.
Kind of climbed inside the 8 there, so really nice shot from Steve.
I was expecting him to go to the other side of the 8, but
I kind of expected him to kind of like pinch that and play the 12 in the same pocket, but he hit it really, really nice and clean, and now he's going to come around a couple areas to a big area. Just don't get behind the 2.
Okay. Comes up in front of the 2, so.
Yeah, in pretty good shape here. But there's another example of the table just rolling about a couple feet longer than he's expecting right now.
All right, so Joe says he's watching from Abington, just out northeast of Baltimore. Steve takes a 3-1 lead, and it will be Steve's break. While Steve racks these, let's get a word from a couple more of our sponsors. Brian's Cue Repair. Brian is on site doing cue repair at Bruising Cues Mondays and Fridays, as well as during large tournaments. All right, so Steve gets the 15 ball down on the break. Has a couple solids to shoot at in the 1 or the 3. I don't know that he really has a shot at stripes. So would expect to see him take solids here. 2 ball does go in the bottom right corner. The 6 ball might be a little tricky, but actually if you get the 2 out of there, it goes in that corner. It also goes in the corner by the 3 if you have cleared the 3 out. The 1 rolls forward, give himself the angle on the 3, probably come up to play the 7 in the side next. Good shot there. Probably take the 4 on the side, and he really has his choice of which ball he wants to get shape on next. Looks like he's drawn back to hold for the 6. So, while you were away, Joe in the comments said that you were talking about the Rogers house. He used to run tournaments there. So.
Okay. I was probably there a good handful of times. It was a nice little drive for me, but what's his name? Brian Kilgore was running tournaments there after Bombas shut down, and we had a nice little Sunday tournament going, so there were some good ones. That was back in the early days when I had just met Cap and Dave, and fun times. That's where Sean Wilkie's from. I think he lives right in Havre de Grace.
Yes, he does.
He was
Or
always
at least
at all
he did.
of them.
I don't know that he still does.
A little bit of a touchy shot here. You got to go back between. He decided to stay below it.
He played that really well.
That was a professional decision on that shot. Knowing that he could stay below the 9, take the stripes completely out of play, and that the 8 went past the 12 to the corner pocket there. So nice risk management on that shot.
All right, it's a good shot there by Steve. Break and run, takes the 4-1 lead. Joe, I'm Dave Nangle. From down south of Baltimore. I play out of Bruising Cues. Jeremy Mason is the other commentator. He's from Delaware. Not
I'm
exactly
lost.
sure what area of Delaware you're from.
It doesn't matter. Delaware's only 3 counties, so we don't really have areas. It's just Delaware. So yeah, no, Central Delaware. I run tournaments out of Southern Delaware in Delmarva Billiards and Sports Bar. Shout out to those guys. They're my home room. They're sponsors for my stream as well, so they're really good people there. I drive a good ways to get there though. That's all the way at the opposite end of the state from where I live. So I live out in the middle of nowhere, but I love pool, love doing commentary, love playing. I don't love running tournaments, but somebody's got to do it.
I enjoy it sometimes.
I mean, but you're spoiled, Dave. I got to tell you, like, you have it where, okay, like, hey, I have 16 beautiful diamonds, and this is what time you should be here, and then that's it. The work's done. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I have to send out 350 invitations and 200 personal messages to get 12 players, so it's a little
Yeah.
bit different.
Yeah.
Not to belittle what you do, man.
No,
You do
no,
great. You do great work,
I
and you
know.
do it the hard way. A lot of
But
times you're not playing; you're
yeah,
just
we
there
only we,
to,
we only have 13 diamonds, by the way. But
you know, and you're 20 minutes from like 30 more. So
yeah, which actually is kind of hurting our draw lately because
yeah,
everybody's starting to have tournaments, and so
it's nice as a player. It's tough as a room owner,
yes,
um,
yeah.
to
Not
have
that
all the
I'm the room
options.
owner; I just run the tournaments, but yeah, definitely. As a player, it is nice when if I want to. If I'm not running a tournament one weekend, I usually have 4 or 5 that I can choose from to go play. And
Hmm.
so,
I always have 4 or 5 I can choose to play from, but I have to get a plane ticket.
yeah.
But this is my favorite anymore. I mean, nothing's ever going to be better than playing the game, but I have as much fun in the booth
No, I
as I
agree.
do as a player.
I'm still uncomfortable when there's not somebody in it with me uh, that I'm comfortable with, but or if there's not somebody in the booth at all, especially.
Well, and I'm the opposite. I'm more comfortable by myself because I don't have to like ever shut up. Ask anybody. Shout out to my boy Grayson Vaughn saying hey in the comments. Yeah, Joey
Hey,
K is here.
Grayson. Yes.
Joey K first blind bid today, 11 or 12 biggins.
Yeah, Joey got a bye in the first round. He will either be playing Mike Edel, who he traveled here with, or Rick Scarlato. So
Does Mike play pretty good or?
I'm honestly not sure. I've never really seen him play. I know he has about a 570 Fargo,
Okay,
but
so Rick's probably the favorite out of
yeah.
that. Rick's playing real good. Always plays real good, it seems like, and just still finding ways to get better over the last year or two. Well, Larry Steele says Mike's even with him. That's pretty strong. Larry plays pretty good. I don't know if I believe Larry. I think he's trying to get action.
Okay, he's saying he should be a 650
Well,
range
if
Fargo.
that's true, he does play even with Larry.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he's played in a few of our tournaments, but I've never actually gotten a chance to watch him shoot. So
It can be tough being the other guy.
yeah, oh,
You
definitely.
travel 3 states away, and everybody's buying your friend and first in the blind bid, and it's all about him. And
Yeah,
then you got to be like, "Hey, I can play too," and then you can almost add pressure to your
yeah.
game that way.
No, I agree with that. But as to traveling with him, at least they didn't drive 17 hours to play each other like Rick and I did when we went to New Orleans 2 years ago. That was
That's brutal.
yeah. I drew Omar El Shaheen in the first round. He drew Tyler Steyer, and then after we lost, we had to play each other.
Joe, I think we're trying to finish this tournament today. It was originally scheduled. These are always scheduled to be 2-day events, but a lot of times they get upwards of 80 or 90 players in these events.
Yeah.
So I have to think this is going to go pretty late tonight. It's 8 ball, and we
Yes.
want to get it done today.
Yeah, we're gonna make every effort to get this tournament done today.
So,
So
I mean, unless it gets to be 8 o'clock tonight and it's obvious that we're not getting done until 4 in the morning, then it might not go as late because
right.
we might stop and bring 8 back.
Yeah, if you know
Um,
you're coming back tomorrow, you might as well bring 8 and not 3 back
right,
tomorrow.
exactly.
But
So I would say there's a good chance it's going to be really late, but if it's not really late, it might be really early. So you do whatever you want with that.
but yeah, we'll keep you guys updated as soon as we have an idea of what the plan is. We'll let you guys know.
We'd love to meet you
Yes,
too, Joe.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
if it sounds like you're not too far from a lot of these good events. I'm sure you're not very far from Brews and Q's or um, Dave would know better than me, but there's a lot of these events and they're awesome to play in. So come out and play in the next one. But if you said, is he the one that said he doesn't play because of the?
Yes.
Okay, so if
Yeah.
you don't play anymore, there's plenty of guys that just come out here and railbird all the time, and where we certainly welcome that. And the venues are great, the food's great, so I'm pretty sure any fan of pool would enjoy being here for sure. And we can't bring you every match. Like, this is a great feature match on the TV table right now, but even around the room, we've got Dwayne Lobb playing against Clint Clayton in the first round. There's always really good action.
Yes.
Oh, what a
Steve
shot.
fired that ball in.
And he's going to get very unfortunate not to have a straight-in shot on the 6 here. Like if that either comes a little softer or comes back off the rail another 6 inches, he's out here. Now he's going to have to come with another great manufactured shot. And this is the part of the game in 8-ball where there's nowhere to hide, Dave. You gotta just use your imagination and come up with some kind of an offensive play here. You're not hiding from a guy having 6 balls.
Right.
Of course, I say that and Steve ducks, but he tried to not move that 6 very far so that Jake wouldn't have the 13 down the rail. But even if that had been the case, playing 8-ball, like you're a 95% underdog when you get into this spot playing 8-ball against a good player.
Yeah, because I mean, Jake didn't like the shot. Say with Steve only having 1 ball, he had an easy safe to come back with. Don't like where he put the 14 though, because I don't think the 14 goes in either pocket now. So you have to get the 10 out of there first.
The other thing, he shot so fast I didn't have a chance to look. But if it's me, I'm looking for more of a two-way shot in the situation because the guy can always come back and kick the ball in playing 8-ball.
Right.
And I feel real dumb when I play safe and the guy kicks out of it and gets out because I was afraid to shoot a shot. You know.
Yeah.
Most of the time when you have 6 balls on the table in 8-ball and the other guy has 1, there's a two-way shot somewhere.
Yeah. Hi, Chris. Glad you could join us here.
I don't know if you know Chris. He's a real strong player.
Yeah, I've met him a couple times. I don't really know him, but
lived up in Coatesville, PA for a while. Played out of Appetizer's Bar. Now I think he just recently moved back to my neck of the woods. I think he lives really close to where I run tournaments out of.
Steve made a good hit, but scratched. But he's also locked the 6 up on the 13. So
yeah, the scratch isn't terrible there. He did a lot with that shot.
Yeah.
Created another problem, and Jake already had the 10-14 to deal with. And to me, if I'm Jake, I have to deal with this 10-14 and maybe try to get Steve to break out that ball with a 6, but Steve's not going to.
No.
If Steve gets back to the table here, he's going to hit a stripe up into that cluster real tight or just nudge the 13 even closer to the rail.
Did a nice job of coming into the 10-14. It looks like he left himself
I don't like this. I may have played
he just played a safe.
Yeah, that's what he should have done there. I may have even played it safe in because he could have really locked him to the back of the 8 because he was about straight in on the shot. He had to create an angle with the cue ball to miss that shot, and because of that, he kind of climbed up above the 8 a little bit. But I think this is effective. Steve has the 1 rail kick, and that's it. And what Jake did do well by not pocketing that ball is he has 2 balls that are potential breakout balls. So if Steve wanted to intentional foul, he can't really do it now with either of the balls in the open. Because with ball in hand, Jake's going to be able to use the 10 or the 14 to break out the 13. I think he is just going
to roll slow into it.
Yeah, so when the guy does have the breakout balls, you can't play the intentional foul there.
Right.
So he did just kind of nudge his ball to the rail, keep the 13 tied up. And I can't tell from this angle if... I don't think it's there. I was going to say if Jake wanted to be really aggressive, he could kind of bank the 13 out of there and let the cue ball come back down table behind the 8 and the 10. But I think he may be a little bit too full of a hit on the 13 to do that now.
Yeah, that's also a risky.
Yeah, you don't have to be aggressive here.
Yeah.
You know, you can wait for a better spot to get your opening. You're still a big favorite from here. And that's going to be an effective shot because Steve's really going to have to choose between the intentional foul or the soft kick, and it's hard not to open things up with the soft kick here.
Yeah.
And what Jake did well there is the 14 passes the 10 to the corner. If Steve soft kicks at the 6 here, he's going to have a shot on the 14, and the 13 should be opened up.
Well, Joe said he's heading our way, so we'll see him in a little bit.
And that's exactly the shot that Steve played. He hit it as good as you can, but you could see, I think the 13 goes to the side. Now it may even go to the corner. I think it goes to the side. It's tight.
It definitely goes to the side.
And Jake has a free shot at this 14 here. He'd have to climb way up table to sell out a bank shot, I think, on the 6. So effective kind of moving there from Jake. He put that 10. He put that ball in a real good spot. I guess whatever ball he just shot. And Jake plays a lot of one pocket. Like I say, he's a good 8-ball player, but he has the moving knowledge that it takes for like a late game 8-ball rack. You don't get to see a ton of this at a high level, but these are the 8-ball racks that are fun to me, where you get to talk about the strategy late in the game. At a high level, you're going to talk a lot more about the pattern play and how guys are getting out and avoiding trouble, but what we saw in that rack there is one of the reasons why 8-ball's my favorite game. There's so many scenarios that come up that you just don't get in the rotation games.
So Jake knocks it down the 8. Cuts Steve's lead to 4-2.
Yeah,
Steve
not dead
will
yet.
be breaking, trying to get on the hill.
No lead is safe in these short races. And, people talk about how it's tough to come back in alternate break, but I tend to disagree, especially in a game like 8-ball where it's not incredibly hard to dry break. A lot of time, like when we have 9-ball and 10-ball tournaments, especially the on the hill where you're using the turtle rack, dry breaks don't happen very often. You need a little bit of luck to get back into it with alternate break. But with 8-ball, dry breaks are going to happen, and it only takes one for a 3-game swing. Got a great chat going now. I love this. And once again, we've mentioned it a couple times, but you just can't really describe how much more fun it is to be in the booth when you have the engagement in the comment section. So we appreciate all you guys that are participating with us. Makes it a lot more fun. Another solid break from Steve. Couple balls down, almost 3 balls down. The 10 doesn't go. But wide open here. Either group is okay. I think the 15 would be the worst ball for the stripes, and it does pass the 3 to the corner.
It does pass, but unless you want to take a back cut on it, it's a little tricky to get on because of the 5 and the 7.
And for that reason, I think I like the solids if you have a good opening shot. You can cut the 4, you can back cut the 6. I think you may see the 6 ball to open it.
I couldn't find the 4, so I was a little confused. But
away up table by itself.
Yeah, I was looking at the 12. And
you could conceivably take the stripes here.
Yeah.
I don't know. The 15 is the worst ball for sure.
Yeah. No, it looks like he's taking the 1.
And this is the reason he's choosing this is because shooting the 1 was the shot where the cue ball was not going into traffic ever.
Yeah.
And he's right in line now, taking care of this 4 ball, which was a potential problem being up table on an island.
Yeah. Back out to shoot the 6 on the side.
And he's going to really check his line here. Wants to be almost straight on the 7 to play a stop shot to lead to the 3.
Yeah.
Needs to get. You may actually have to go from the 7 to the 5 to the 3. 3 last would be fine. The 8 ball goes on the side if it needs to. But the 5's a potential problem as well. And it should not be a problem to go from the 5 to the 3. So I think that may be the pattern you'll see here. The 3 to the 5 has potential issues because you can be going into the 15, going into the 8, moving things around. So I like play the 7, go forward, use the 5 to get on the 3, and if you have to shoot the 8 in the side, then so be it.
Yeah. Yep.
He's a little bit off angle here, which is not a huge problem. You'll probably see him go all the way to the rail and back out.
Back out, exactly.
And I'd also probably like to see him play a little bit of inside here. The more your cue ball climbs here, the bigger it's kind of a conic position area for the cue ball. So the farther you go away from the 3, the bigger the room for error is.
Yeah,
he doesn't do that.
He came straight out, but he's still
Well, this was a pretty big area he could get in, so. But now he's a little bit awkward going to the 8. He probably is going to... Well, no, he might be able to just
bump the 15 and shoot the 8
You're
in the
right.
corner.
I was kind of locked in on him playing the 8 to the side, but you're right. Just a kind of a stop shot here goes to the 15 and then straight in on the 8. Good call, Dave. So nice out from Steve here. Really good position play. I shouldn't say good position play, good pattern play. And there is a difference. So you play good patterns in 8-ball, you don't have to be great with your position because the shots take care of themselves.
And you can get exactly where you want to get on a ball, which would be good position, but if it was the wrong choice of patterns, getting there doesn't always help. So.
And that's what 8-ball's all about, is playing the balls in a way where the cue ball movement is minimal, moving of balls is minimal, and there's less shots where you're having to get to a specific spot by moving the cue ball. If you need to get to a specific spot, you want to be shooting a ball that takes you to that specific spot. And that's what we're talking about when we say pattern play.
So Jake breaking here, trying to stay in the match. So how do you break 8-ball? Do you break the second ball back? Or do you break on the head ball?
It depends. For me, I prefer the head ball break if I can, because I feel like I break them wide open and have a chance to run out, but I tend to break dry more doing it like that. So if I am breaking dry and I'm selling out.
The second ball back break, I tend to break dry and leave everything against one rail.
Which is better. If you're going to break dry,
yes. But
I've also noticed when I second ball break, and you can say it's luck if you want, but it seems to me that when I second ball break, if I make a ball, I have a runnable rack. And if I break dry, it looks terrible. And that's kind of exactly what you want.
No, absolutely. So Jake is scratched on the break here. So for the
table 10, Mike Flippin, Loy Boyer. Table 10, Mike Flippin and Loy Boyer.
For those of you unfamiliar with the BCA rules, scratch on the break is ball in hand anywhere on the table, not behind the line. So it's going to enable Steve to get this trouble 1 ball out of here. Now it looks like he might be taking the 7 instead, but either way, the 7 and the 1 are definitely a big problem if you want solids here. So you got to get rid of one of them.
And so maybe shooting the 7 just so he doesn't have to play a ball jacked up. But he might be playing this 1 up table.
Well, he started with the 1, then he moved the cue ball to look like he was going to the 7, but now he's gone back to the 1.
I like getting rid of the 1 better because the 7, they both could go to the corner pocket conceivably once the other ball was gone, but the 7 really, like practically can go to the corner pocket once the 1's gone. The 1, you'd have to be in a real specific spot to shoot it to the corner.
No, I agree, and I think that's why he took it, but I think he looked at the 7 just because the 13 ball was making bridging on the 1 a little bit interesting.
Absolutely, and you feel real goofy if you miss a ball with ball in hand because you gave yourself a little bit of a funny bridging or whatever. So, but this is going to be another real nice pattern from Steve. Looks like he might want to take care of the 2 and the 5. I'm sorry, the 6 and the 5. I did a real Strickland there. I was looking at the 6 and I said 2. This is where you got to make up your mind.
I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves the 2 to last for shape on the 7, on the 8 and the side.
Yeah, and if you're doing that, this is the right way to do it. 7 to the 6 to the 5. I'm going to just roll forward and take a little bit of a back cut on the 5. If you get too much angle, it's going to be fine to go forward and go around the 10. If you're pretty straight, you can just kind of slide straight down around the 12.
Just need to make sure you don't leave it behind the 12.
Yeah, he tried to get too cute with that one.
Yeah.
He's lucky to still have the 2 ball here. But now he's going to have to really come with a good shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He's going to have to shoot the 2 and draw up above for the 5 in the side. Because he can't stun across because of the 14 and the 8.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to just come with a good draw stroke here and draw up kind of one rail towards the inside of the 10, kind of.
Yeah, you had to make sure you got past that 12, even if you left yourself more of an angle than you want on the 5 ball.
And this is, the angle he's going to be coming on here is the one where if you get into it good like you're supposed to, the cue ball's tracking for the corner pocket. You can't overhit this.
Yeah.
The one good thing, the 5 does pass the 12 to the corner if you kind of overrun it a little bit.
Yeah. But if you overrun it and get to where you're playing the 5 in the corner, where do you play the 8 ball?
You have to hope you're kind of straight, yeah.
Follow it down and play it in the bottom
if you're
side,
straight
I
enough.
guess. Yeah.
And he's not going to be. He's going to have a back cut here.
I don't know. That ball's continuing to move. He didn't quite get straight, but...
This is Harry. He may have to come with a big stroke here and like stun forward for the 8 in the same pocket. I don't know if he can. If he may be able to come with a real high but smooth stroke and kind of nudge the 12 and still go forward on the inside of the 12. But he's gonna have to hit that 5 all the way to the outside of the pocket to do that. You know, he looks like he wants to draw out all the way around the 10. So draw all the way to the foot rail and come to the left side of the 10 for the 8 in the same pocket that he's shooting the 5 in. That's a big stroke as well. But it's a little bit like of an easier pocketing. Now he's looking at the side pocket and stunning straight over.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming at all. That was a nice shot.
No, it was.
Well, I didn't think the 5 pocketed very easily in the side, but that was the easiest way to get there for sure. Well, I love how Steve took his time and looked at every option there and then found the one that he really loved.
Yeah, so Steve closes out the match 6-2. He'll move on the winner side, while Jake will move over to the one-loss side. All right, so I'm not sure who our next match here on the stream table will be, but we'll be back in just a moment when we find out.